Hello and welcome. So before we even get into the video that I recorded yesterday, we launched the campaign and it funded. It funded within 7 minutes. So today we're going to get into everything that's available for the new campaign, Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2 that launched today successfully, and everything you could get for it. And one extra thing that I don't mention in the video is just this weekend we're doing Black Friday sales. So for all the digital versions of the book, that includes the EPUB, the audiobook, any of those, you can get those on a special discount for Black Friday, so please check it out before the weekend's up. And with that, let's get into the video. Hello and welcome to Pesto Comics. This is the entry for November 19th, 2025. Launching Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2. What's new with number 2? Today we have something a little different and a little bit the same, as we're launching a new campaign on Kickstarter. This one was done with a little less fanfare than I've been doing recent campaigns, as Big Smoke Pulp has slowly been building in the background, and because it's not a comics project, which is what I'm usually promoting, the promotion is a little different. The expectations I have for this Kickstarter are a little different. The goal of this is just to cover the costs of getting these different authors on board. I can tell you with the first edition of Big Smoke Pulp, it's just a fraction of the cost of putting together even a 24-page comic book. So it's something I think I'm going to be doing for a very long time going forward. The reason I did Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1 was kind of a way to test the market, to test Kickstarter and see how prose would do without having to have my own novels and novellas together and all in one piece in order to actually test that. I was kind of jumping ahead and seeing that when I'm ready with those novels and novellas, which will be coming in the new year in 2026. They're almost there and almost ready to be released. But the whole point of it was really just to see the whole process and see printing and see the best ways of doing everything. And so there are a handful of changes with Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2 versus number 1. The biggest of which you may notice right away, we've gone a different direction with the style this time. That's because of the stories we received. It's an open call. I don't really put any rules or any expectations on the types of stories we'll receive. So what we received this time, lots of horror. Horror across the board. I don't put any limitations or guidelines on what we should receive. So if it's pulp, I want to read it. I say send it my way. And this time around, most of it was horror. That seemed to be the prevailing trend of all the stories we received. So because it was more horror, we went with a horror style cover for this one. And that's all thanks to our wonderful artist, Orta. He put together an excellent cover, and I'm very happy with how this all worked out. Make sure you check him out at Orta_illustrations on Instagram. He's always open for commissions, so if you have your own kind of project that you think would work with this style of cover, please reach out, let him know. With that said, we have 40 authors who have signed on for Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2, some of which may be familiar from the first edition, and a lot of which are brand new to us. So it's really cool to see so many different people coming back, and we have so many different and diverse stories. So it's still a whopper of a book. It's still well over 100,000 words, and as we do better and better with the campaign, I'll be sure to not only add some of my own stories that I have in the backlog that I can certainly add, but I actually have a special guest who has thrown some extra stories that we'll throw on as stretch goals as well. So well worth checking out. I'm not going to reveal the stretch goals until we start hitting that point, as of course, we want to make sure we're funded before anything. And of course, if you're watching on Substack, we'll have the usual epilogue where I'll tell you just freeform how I'm feeling about all this. It may surprise you. And for the paid subscribers on Substack, I'll share just a little bit more so that if you're interested in everything that's happening behind the scenes, that's where you'll be able to find it. So with that, let's get into the details of what's available with this new campaign for Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2, launching today. The first reward we have available is the EPUB and PDF of Big Smoke Pulp. So why would you get this instead of just waiting for a copy from Amazon or some other place? Well, the answer is pretty simple. This is DRM free. I'm going to send you the file. You're going to have the file. You do what you will with it. It's available for you to transfer onto any device. If you want, be it your phone, be it your e-reader of some sort. Whatever you want to use it on, you can use it on. It's a PDF and it'll EPUB. I'm going to send you both versions of the file, and you're going to get that for the cool price of just $14 Canadian, $10 US. If this is all new to you, you still have a chance to catch up digitally speaking, and you can still get DRM free copies of Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1 and Volume 2, both as EPUBs, both as PDFs. So there's a bundle for you to do it that way. You could get them separately, but I highly recommend always doing the bundles because I always make sure that the price is just a little bit better than if you added everything separately. And something entirely new that I'm trying with Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2 specifically is the audiobook. I'm going to distribute this widely at some point and get it on all of the services that you can get your audiobooks. The difference is if you get it here, you're getting it DRM free. It's going to be an MP3 file that you can do whatever you want with it. You can transfer it to your phone, you can transfer it to your friend, you can do whatever you want. But the point is you get a digital audiobook. And who's going to be reading it? Well, it's going to be yours truly. So if you don't like the sound of my voice, maybe the audiobook isn't for you. If you listen to me every week, it's going to be a little bit different, as I'm going to be a lot more deliberate about what I'm saying. And there's going to be some acting involved because, of course, we got to get those characters out there. But it should be a lot of fun. And if you're, not a big reader, but you still want to enjoy this, audiobook is a great way to go. Now, for those of you that want a copy in your hands to be able to flip through the pages, you can get the paperback edition. This will include both the audiobook and the digital copies. So with each reward level, we're going to give you more and more, and that's included with the paperbook edition. So technically, costs the same as just getting the audiobook. The difference is the shipping. I will warn folks that shipping has gone up quite a bit, specifically for my Canadian friends. Shipping within our country, again, is starting to outpace the price of shipping to the US. So just keep that in mind when you go to checkout, that the price you see when you first get the reward and the price at the checkout are two different prices. However, I'm not adding anything when we get to the backer kit stage of things and the surveys. So the price that you see when you check out on Kickstarter is going to be the price. So once you finalize your pledge, you will see the final amount that you will get charged at the end of the campaign. Another thing to note with Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1, we did a pocketbook edition of Big Smoke Pulp. So for those of you that got the book the first time and it stayed in one piece, that was great, and I'm glad it did for you. However, we did see quite a few problems. It was a little too thick for the bindings that it was in and would fall apart on, I would say, a third of the people who are receiving the book. So we're not doing that this time. We're going a little bit more traditional size. It's going to be like a typical novel that you get anywhere. We're talking just about an inch bigger all the way around. So not quite the pocketbook style, but still a decent paperback. Now, if you're jumping on the Kickstarter campaign, you're going to see that there's a reward level that is featured. That is this one, the hardcover edition of Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2. The reason I feature it is because it's a Kickstarter exclusive. I print these very specifically to the amount that are ordered during the Kickstarter campaign. They are no longer available after the campaign, with an exception, which we'll get into very shortly, but they are only available during the Kickstarter. So if you want a hardcover version of Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2, here's the place to get it. For those of you that didn't get Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1 and you want both copies in your hand, we're going to be reprinting Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1 in paperback along with Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2. These two will match. They'll be the same size. So if you have the pocketbook version of one and maybe you want to replace it and have something that looks equal on your shelves, this is another way to go. So you can get it here. For those of you that did back Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1, I highly recommend checking your emails because I'm going to also be including a secret reward for those of you as just a little extra for those who supported the first time out. And sometimes I do get questions. Pesto Comics, but you're doing short stories and this and that? Yes, Pesto Comics. Well, if you're watching the channel, you're fully aware of what Pesto Comics is and all that great stuff. But if you're not familiar with Pesto Comics, if you're finding us because you're more into the literary thing, but you still want to dabble your toe into comics, we have one great bundle for you. It's the digital pulp bundle. So in this bundle, I will not only send you copies of Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1 and Volume 2, along with the audiobook, but I'm also going to send you every comic that we've published thus far. So for one price, you're getting a whole ton of stuff to read, both comics and books and an audiobook, so you can listen along when you listen to Volume 2. Now, if you want every version of Volume 2 that's out there, that means the hardcover and the paperback and the audiobook and the digital copies, we have a tier for that. It's much cheaper to do it this way. So if you're going to add ones and twos, you're going to lose out quite a bit. You don't get all the extras of, if you get the paperback and then you add the hardcover as an add-on, that means you're not getting the audiobook and you're not getting the digital copy. So I always recommend make sure you get everything you want. And if you want everything that we have that's new in this campaign, this is a tier for you. So I mentioned the caveat about Kickstarter exclusive, and it's still technically true, but we're doing a hardcover catch-up for both Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1 and Volume 2. So that means you can get hardcovers of each. Now, it's not the exact same hardcover you got with Volume 1, but it's one that will match the styling of Volume 2. The hardcovers for Volume 1 were really cool. I'm very happy with how they turned out. With the printer I'm using for Volume 2, they do a ton of cool extras, and those are going to be included in Volume 2 and Volume 1, so it'll be a little different than what you got the last time out, a little bit extra special. So if you're looking to get those Kickstarter exclusive covers and you want both Volume 1 and Volume 2, this is the place to get that. And of course, if you want every single version of Big Smoke Pulp, that includes the audiobooks, the digital, the hardcovers, both, and both paperbacks, we have a tier that covers everything. I'm going to send you a giant box with everything included plus digital files so that you can enjoy all of the Big Smoke Pulp you could imagine. So highly recommend checking that out. If you haven't been a part of it, or if you want the newest versions of everything and the reprints and all that, this is the place to get that. So let's talk about the big changes. Outside of the typeface that's obviously changed to match the horror style along with the cover and all that, is the printer we're using. So we were now printing via BookVault. And the benefit of using BookVault is that they print on demand and they send the books directly to you. That means I don't even touch them myself. So you're not waiting that extra time for me to get boxes together and figure out, with this mess behind me, what you're getting in your box. There are some caveats to that. That means I can't send physical comics this time, which is why you're not going to see that in these tiers. But it does allow me to make sure that you're getting the best quality books right direct to your door, direct from the printer. And of course, if you have any issues, I can work directly with the printer for you on your behalf to make sure that you're getting exactly what you ordered. So a little bit of an experiment here as we're switching to this new printer, but they're very well regarded, very highly recommended, very excited to see what they put together for you and ship to you directly from BookVault. So it should be very interesting. Now, with over 40 authors, I'm not going to bore you listing each one, so I highly recommend you check out the campaign page. I have them all listed there. There's quite a few authors to check out. I'm going to be showing it to you if you're watching on the video, but there's 40 authors that have contributed amazing stories that I definitely want you to check out. They were a lot of fun to read. I read about 3 to 4 times what you see here in terms of just submissions that I had to go through. And so these are the cream of the crop. It's not like I was picking 40 stories out of 50 that were sent to me. I was sent over 200 stories to get through. So these 40 are the ones that deserve to be in this book. They're excellent stories. They're well worth checking out. I highly recommend, if you can, check out everyone's socials and follow them and see what else they're working on, because a lot of these authors actually have a lot of cool stories and cool things coming out beyond Big Smoke Pulp. So a lot of cool new people, new names to check out, along with, again, some favorites from Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1. As far as the timelines go, this campaign is set to end December 19th, so just before Christmas. At that point, we get everything to BookVault. Once everything's been settled, that'll probably be just at the beginning of the new year, as it takes a couple weeks for things to clear Kickstarter. We'll get the digital copies in everyone's hands at sometime in January, if not early February. And then we would expect BookVault to get everyone their books, their physical books, by March, the latest. So not too long of a turnaround. As always, the book is pretty much done. I'm working on a bit of formatting, just finalizing that and getting the final page counts down. We got the covers done. We got all the design done. So it's just a matter of getting the campaign launched, which we've done today. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please go to Kickstarter, look for Big Smoke Pulp Volume 2. You can also go to bit.ly/BSPV2. That'll send you directly to the page where you can check it out and back to your heart's content. So with that, this was more of a sales post than usual, as it always is when I have a campaign launch. This one kind of snuck up on me, so I wasn't talking about it so much on socials and that, but expect me to over the next month to make sure that this gets funded and over the line so we can get all these authors paid and appreciated the way they should be. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. And then we'll talk again next week as we do an early postmortem for Naked Kaiju Woman #2. I haven't received the prints yet. Right now, they are set to come early December, first week of December. So I won't have them in hand in time for the postmortem, but I can tell you how the whole campaign went. And the answer is it went very, very well. So I learned quite a bit. It's going to be a fun one. So come back next Wednesday. We'll go through all of the details for free. It's not going to be behind a paywall or anything like that. It's what we do with every postmortem. So be sure to be here next Wednesday. Until then, have a good one. Thanks.